Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Welcome. This is the new moon in Pisces. I've been excited for today. We're going to take a look at your energy right now. I always look at you first, what's really happening in your life, your love life, and then we'll look at the person that's in your energy, see what I pick up on. Today for Aries through Pisces, the portion I do a quick rundown at the end. I will look at, if you're in no contact, what the energy is and potential of contact in the next 7 days. All right, so let's see what's going on for my Leos. All right, I love it already. The overall energy at the bottom of the deck is the Six of Wands. So, this tells me that what you might be feeling, what you might be thinking may not be exactly true in alignment with the energy that's actually around you or coming through. All right. So this tells me just to keep your head up, stay confident. All right. The energy is actually shifting. There's a break. You may be finding this week that, you get a bunch of little wins coming in for you, right? So try to focus on that. If you're expecting some big bang, this week, sometimes it's just all about the little things that are happening for us around us that are signs and synchronicities that what it is, you're winning a little battle right now, not the war. So don't focus on the end game just yet. It's just taking it step by step. Now, this does tell me, this week you could be getting the attention, feeling validated. Maybe people around you are noticing something about you, something, they're complimenting you. This kind of energy can feel really nice. It can come out of nowhere for you, right? And it's like you're getting attention, and maybe inside you're not feeling your best, but this is showing that on the outside, what you might be perceiving, how others see you, might not be what's really happening here, because it looks as though people really admiring you. Maybe they're seeing you walk through a tough time right now, and they're just like, man, Leo really keeps it together and is really pushing through. So this could be a week of some small wins, a victory of some sort, somebody returning, getting the attention you're seeking, some validation coming through, even in work-related situations. Maybe you've been struggling, a lot of challenges lately, and this is a break in that energy for you. So what's underneath that is the Ten of Cups. So there could be even a lot of family stuff that's going on for you right now. And you are seeing that you're coming out of it alive, right? So things looking good. And finally, some big major challenge that you've been up against looks as though you're going to start to see a break, be able to breathe, right? I like that energy. So let's see you right now. I see the Page of Cups energy, really good. So you're just kind of taking it day by day. What's your biggest challenge right now? The Ten of Wands. All right. So I love that you're trying to hold it together. And this is also reminding you just not to be so serious about everything that's going on in your life right now, right? Maybe you got a crush on somebody. Maybe you are seeking love, or you're just wanting somebody to open up and be vulnerable. Your biggest challenge right now is there's the Ten of Wands, which can say maybe you're focusing on something too much or trying too hard to get what you want. The Page of Cups is, remember when we were younger or children, or when we had a crush on somebody. It's like be more playful about your situation rather than taking it so seriously, because things might not be as hard as they seem. Now let's see how you view the situation that you're connected to. All right, now I can see that you're looking at it through the lens of the Queen of Pentacles. All right. And the Queen of Pentacles can overanalyze everything. Maybe you have a lot of pressure on you. The Ten of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles can be somebody who takes care of their own business, very independent, single parent, just always carrying the weight of the world, very responsible, works very hard, And so the situation that you're trying to connect with, and I'll have to look at your person here and see the kind of energy they're coming in, because that'll make a difference. It'll show why things may be out of balance, according to the energy here. So you can see here that you may be taking things really seriously right now and looking at it through the lens of, somebody may not be showing up the way you would be showing up, or you may be trying to look at things practically rather than just, kind of being playful about it, right? So this is where, sometimes I say we're adulting too much in a situation, and we're making a situation harder than it has to be. So let's take a look at your person. It could be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn that you're dealing with. Now, the person that you're dealing with could be somebody who also is the person I just explained, right? Could be somebody that has a lot on their plate, just very much, feeling like they're barely there, right? They're barely hanging on. But this is also a good sign too, because it looks like there's a break in that energy as well. This is a completion here, which means if somebody has been taking care of business, they're finally reaching some point where they can actually, pull out the towel and they're done. You know what I mean? I finished. I have more time now. So this could be a week where you're starting to feel somebody open up more emotionally with that Page of Cups as well. So your person's energy, the Knight of Swords, all right, this can be a very fast, and sometimes it can feel very inconsistent too, because it just feels like 1 minute it's going one way, the next minute it seems like, you think you're going in one direction, and all of a sudden the conversation takes a hard left or a hard right, and you just don't know at sometimes, and we can make assumptions with this kind of energy. So your person may be really overwhelmed right now and have their mind scattered in a lot of different places. So a person like this could say something and somebody could take it out of context, right? Or we could miscommunicate, misunderstand each other. And if somebody is overwhelmed, because the challenge you're faced with is the 10 of Wands, if somebody has a lot of pressure on them, the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords here is saying somebody could overreact and maybe not intentionally, but say something or do something and that feels like you're taking the brunt of it, or they're taking it out on you, right? And that's not the case here. Maybe for some of you it is. It just feels like, they got mad at you for some reason, but I feel like there was an overreaction, and this overreaction was because of other circumstances that were going on, and it interfered with your relationship or the way you perceive them. So their biggest challenge with you right now is the Four of Pentacles. All right, so don't get triggered when I pull out the challenge card, right? Because I'm not in your story and I don't know what's going on. I'm just reading the cards, all right? So their biggest challenge may be they need you to let go a little bit, right? The Four of Pentacles can be controlling, right? Or assuming, right? Making assumptions, right? If somebody is limited on time, or it just seems like, if things happen too fast, or we jump to conclusions too fast. This person may be saying here, I need a little bit of breathing space. I need some room here, right? Because they may feel like you're gripping on to everything they say. So let's see how they view you before I go into that too much, all right? Because that can be triggering. All right. The Page of Swords, all right? So that makes sense. They may feel like you're reading into everything they say, and the Page of Swords can be, misinterpretation. It can say, I text you, and I may have, have you ever texted somebody when you're just texting your thoughts right out your head and you expect somebody to understand where you're coming from, and we're just at the wrong time and we say something and then we misread it. And so then we jump to conclusions and we get pulled into arguments or disagreements in a text, right? Or in a conversation. And this seems like what's happening is things are being taken out of context, and somebody may be defensive. Your person may be feeling very on guard here. Like, you're holding on to something I said, and maybe I did say something I didn't mean, but can we let go of that a little bit, right? So it feels like the biggest problem for you this week could be miscommunication. And that's why the Page of Cups is saying, maybe, not take things too serious with that Queen of Pentacles, or, hold people to every word they say. Sometimes we just say stupid shit, right? And that's what I'm seeing here. So is anything shifting with your person this week? I see the Judgment. All right, so that really means a lot to me right now, and I hope it means a lot to you. It looks like somebody here is going to realize that maybe they said something too quickly. They judge something, and it looks like somebody may hold themselves accountable. I know you may feel like you want somebody to hold them accountable, but at the same time, when somebody does hold themselves accountable, the Queen of Swords can make somebody feel like they're being a parent and somebody's being a child. All right, so your person may be feeling like holding back from you because they don't want to be yelled at in a way. Think about a child, right? I don't want to be yelled at today. I don't feel like being yelled at today. Can you see like my mind is everywhere? Your person has a lot of scattered energy. And so if you're talking to them or trying to have a serious conversation and they're in the middle of all this kind of scattered energy, they're going to say something that might piss you off, right? Now, it feels like they may have overreacted. And at the same time, if you give them enough time, they may realize that they overreacted. But if we keep harping on it or trying to have a conversation, or trying to get a decision from somebody when they're not quite ready to make a decision or can't even clear their head. It's going to lead to a lot of disappointment or miscommunication and reckless conversation and unintentional conversation too. So people will tend to say whatever you need to hear when this kind of energy is scattered. And then you start to hear what people say, and then you can read into it too much. And then later on, when the energy calms down, a person's going to say, why are you even, I don't even understand. I just, I didn't even remember I said that. That kind of energy. So be careful that, this week that can happen. Mercury's going direct this week. So that is talking about, communication clearing up. So this Judgment card tells me that, give it a couple days, really, honestly, guys, give it a couple days for, to have these deep conversations or try to figure out something that was said. I would hold back from reading into things too much and just know that if somebody feels like, or you got blocked, or you feel like somebody pulled their energy away. Right now, when Mercury goes direct in the next couple weeks, you're going to start to see, clarity come through and people understand where they may have misjudged the situation. All right. So sometimes it does just take time. And the biggest thing for you is the Page of Cups is remembering that we all have this stubborn inner child inside of us. And sometimes when we're under a lot of heat, we overreact, right? But coming in with a new energy, because your relationship really has an opportunity this week to win that little battle I was talking about. And it looks like you could step up in your relationship and start again. There's always new starts. We can always have a new beginning whenever we want to, but we have to learn to let go of not sweat some of the small stuff. Now, some of you are going to get triggered by that because some of your stuff is not small. Right. And I understand that. And the things that aren't small, I'm saying right now, it might not be the time to have that serious conversation just yet, especially if somebody's in this energy. And if they keep pulling away from you, it's going to be because the energy is too overwhelming right now. And so if you want to have the best outcome, it's following the energy. So with that being said, let's look at if you are in no contact with Aries through Pisces. I have a big deck here and I'm going to pull several different cards that are going to give me some sort of hidden truth, right? But it's also going to tell me whether or not you might hear from them. Now, when it comes to no contact, that's a little tricky because some of you have been in no contact for a long time. I do believe anything is possible. So I always want you to expect the best because that's how we manifest the best, right? So just keep in mind that this is more of a probability, a possibility, rather than don't ever look at anything as a certainty. Aries, all right, I want to work things out. So it looks like this week, the next 7 days, there's a high probability that an Aries may really want to find a way to work something out with you. All right. Maybe you guys got in too deep. It got too heavy, got too heated. You have that 10 of Wands. It can just feel like, we're burnt out right now, but we can still fix this. So I'm going to go with a yes for contact with an Aries. Taurus. I saved your text and messages. All right. So breathe a little bit with a Taurus. All right. Taurus here needs some time. They got some heat in them, right? They got the steam when you piss them off, right? We love Taurus, right? But you got to understand they need time to read and look over what's happened so they can consider things, right? And they will. And then when they do, hopefully you guys will clear it up. It looks like you guys, if they're still looking at your text and messages and they're reflecting on them, that means they really care and they really want to make things work. All right. So a little bit of time and space, and I get a yes with a Taurus. Gemini. All right. So really there's something about you. Your intellect arouses me. All right. So that to me just tells me they love the way you think. They hear what you say. But in times of crises or heavy energy, Gemini, if they cannot figure it out in the moment, they're going to pull away and they're going to think about what you're saying. All right. But they need that space to really figure it out. Otherwise, it's just going to be, this is Gemini energy and they're going to run. They're going to run. All right. So give Gemini a little bit of space. I get a yes with a Gemini. You definitely do hit them where it counts. Right. Cancer. I don't know why this happened. All right. So it looks like things got kind of heavy with a Cancer. It looks like out of control. Maybe we started arguing about something, or we just misunderstood each other. And so again, I'm getting this energy like, I don't even know why this happened. So give me some time to really figure it out, and always expect the best, right? So keep yourself together. Don't let another person define who you are or how you react, right? Because it looks like they're getting it, and just give them time. So I'm going to get a yes with a Cancer. Leo, I'm waiting for an apology. Leo, come on, all right? You're tapping your foot right now, and you're waiting for somebody else. This is stubbornness, and you're a fixed sign, and a lot of us are like this, right? We want it now. We want it now, right? They owe me an apology. That justice, whenever we feel like we've been hurt, betrayed, all right? But that justice can also become an obsession, all right? And you've got to give somebody time to really, how do you like to admit you're wrong? Because I know a lot of my Leos don't like to admit they're wrong, all right? So I know you're smiling, all right? So I do see that you're really waiting for somebody to make something right. Unfortunately, you've got to give somebody time to fight their own ego and realize whether or not they really feel like they were in the wrong. And when they do, it'll count. If you get a fake apology right now, which is what you could get, it's not going to mean shit, all right? So you can force an apology or wait for a real one. All right, so that's what I'm getting with you and a Leo. So you and another Leo could be standing in your corners, right? Going, I don't want to admit it. I don't want to admit it. Well, one of you will have to cave. All right. So yes for a Leo. Virgo, I know you don't feel the same. So I'm feeling like there's something off here, in a relationship. There's definitely an imbalance with you and a Virgo. All right. It's like you both are just not seeing eye to eye. This could take a little bit of time, especially if one of you feels like the other has just gone too far. All right. So there could be something about compatibility here, and somebody really just there's trust or something in here. So I'm going to give a maybe here. This could go a lot deeper here with you and a Virgo. Libra, I don't want to know. All right. So right now it looks like some denial here with a Libra. All right. It's like, I just don't want to face this. I want to avoid. So you got an avoidance energy here with the Libra. So there is possibility right now that Libra is kind of trying to, push things under the rug, or just kind of skirt past things, or ignore things, or just pretend like nothing ever happened. So this is going to be a difficult situation for you. You may not get what you're looking for right now with a Libra, especially if they were trying to avoid any accountability. Scorpio, I can't be with you right now. It's plain as day, right? I just can't be with you right now. So either it's oil and water right now. You guys have really pushed it too far. Your circumstances could be totally different. It's just like right now, we just can't seem to be or see things eye to eye. I can't be in that energy. Or simply it's that, I'm in another situation and I can't do this right now, right? So I'm going to go with maybe in the future, things will change, right? There could be a possibility. Sagittarius, I see life differently now. All right. So this here tells me there may not be a huge life change, right? Wouldn't we love that? But it does tell me that I've had time to think about the situation, and I'm seeing, maybe clearly now. So give it a little bit of time for your Sag to come to terms with what's going on. All right. There may be an epiphany this week. So yes. Capricorn, I know more than you think. All right. So maybe they're kind of closed off right now, and maybe they're acting like they don't get it. Maybe they're acting like they don't understand what you're going through. Maybe they just need space. I don't know. Maybe you did something. I don't know. All right. But this is telling me that they're holding on to some sort of grudge, or they're keeping something from you. So they're not ready to expose that just yet. But that does give me maybe, give it time. There's still something unfinished there. Aquarius, I see. I never used to look at you in that way. So that gives me an energy of like, I didn't realize, something was bothering you. I didn't realize how you took something. I didn't realize maybe how unhappy you were, how sensitive you were. Or maybe I just really didn't realize how much I really liked you, right? But I need that time to figure it out. So give it time with an Aquarius. Right, that was Aquarius, Scorpio, Sag, Cap, Aquarius. And you may hear from an Aquarius. All right, Pisces, I miss being with you. All right, so this tells me you got to let them miss you. You got to let them sit in their shit for a minute. You got to let them figure it out. And I do get this Six of Cups energy, so they may be reaching out to reconcile. Now, if you're still with me, I will be doing Virgo next. So I hope you guys just come and hang out with me for Virgo. Sometimes when I go one after the other, you don't get a notification. but I'm going to do a yes, no bonus question. So if you have a question on your mind, think about it and I will give you the answer, and I'll also give you an additional message. All right, look at this. You have yes, all right. You have Sagittarius energy, you have fire energy here, Knight of Wands. All right, so this to me tells me that things can get intense between you and another person, all right? So the same intensity that brings you together is the same intensity that can then burn you both, all right? You guys can burn each other down, all right? And so when you're in these relationships that seem to get hot and then cold, or hot and too fast, all right, you know, you can't jump into the fire more, right? You really do have to cool it down before you jump back in, all right? So trust the process here. I see Mars energy. That speaks volumes right now. Mars is war. Mars is conflict, all right? And sometimes we do need to battle things through. But, you know, that Six of Wands says sometimes it's not about winning the war right now. It's just about getting through little battles, right? And finding, you know, better ways to get through them than just trying to tackle it head on, you know, especially when it's not getting you anywhere. I love you guys. Hopefully I helped you, and take care.